this is entry number, I don't even know. But sometimes I think about how there's so many people giving advice, sharing advice, especially to the 20-year-olds or the 20-somethings. It's like things I wish I knew in my 20s, and I'm now in my 30s or 40s. And it's like, that's great. That's awesome. Sometimes I tap in, sometimes I don't. But at the same time, like, this is everyone's first time at life. And what people learn, they had to experience to learn. And as much as they want to give the shortcuts, you're still going to have to apply those shortcuts and learn. And they might work for you and they might not. You really never know. But whatever we're supposed to learn, it's going to happen. Whether we watch that YouTube video or that TikTok, it's going to happen. So I want to say that. But I want to talk about self today. Like knowing yourself. I'm sitting here reading this book. I'm like probably halfway through or so. But I'm sitting here reading this book, and every time it's honestly like its own form of sacred text. Like it has principles that are super like in your face, blunt, also mundane, but they get you thinking, which is great because you can't really argue or debate with knowledge, which is why I love like knowledge, because it's like, ooh, you got a point every time. Ooh, you got a point. It's like you're debating, but you're not, because there's facts, there's the known, and then there's the unknown. And once you can embrace both, like, you're better off. So I'm reading this part, and it's talking about self for the most part, and how knowing yourself can be like a bad thing, because as much as we know ourselves, we still don't know ourselves. We still have much to learn, and we'll probably never fully know ourselves. We'll know that we like this and we don't like that, but also what we like and what we don't like changes. You ever think about that? Like, ooh, you love apple juice as a kid, and then you get older and you hate it because you've drank so much apple juice. And it talks about self and how knowing yourself can hinder you. Then we go into identity. Identity is really what it stems to, like what you see yourself as, who you see yourself to be, what you believe yourself to be, who you believe that you're going to become, if anything. I think that's one thing that really, really strikes a chord, because it's like, especially now in like the age where I feel like manifestation and stuff like that and spirituality has become more mainstream, I feel like identity and like who you can become has become a positive yet somewhat slightly negative thing, because so many people are believing, but their actions are not like, they're not representative of their beliefs. And I can say that I'm one of those people as well. Like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'm this person. But then internally I'm like, ooh, no, I'm not this person. not today, maybe tomorrow. Or maybe like next month, like give me some time. But that's not what it's about, because let me read this passage. So I think it was right here. I want to read this because it just came in my mind. In this way, knowing yourself or finding yourself can be dangerous. Belief always takes precedence. Unless we change how we view ourselves, what we believe we are and are not, we cannot overcome our avoidance and anxiety. We cannot change. Those two words, avoidance and anxiety. If you felt a way about those two words, you're in the right place. You're definitely in the right place at the right time. Because those are the things that are rooted in fear that stop us from fully believing. Because I could say like, oh my gosh, I believe I'm this, I believe I'm this. But then when I go out to a networking event, I'm like, oh snap, I am this. I have to keep telling myself, I'm this. You know, be the part. It's challenging. It can be challenging, and it is reflection. Every time you get maybe slightly triggered or your anxiety flares up, it shows you where you are in your belief and where you are in yourself. Because there are moments when I'm so confident, I don't even realize. And people have to be like, how did you do that? I'm like, what? Like, confidence should be like brushing your teeth. That's what it should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be so natural that you're like, oh, I was doing that? Okay. Like, it shouldn't be something that requires so much thought. And whatever you want to say, you can argue me on this, but it should come naturally. And it only comes naturally either if you've already always been good at it naturally, or you've practiced, because practice makes progress. So if you want to develop confidence in anything, public speaking, talking to guys, singing, dancing, you gotta practice, because those seasoned professionals are confident, yeah, because they have experience and stuff like that, but because they've gotten to a point where they don't even have to think to do like this spin or this turn or to do a back handspring. They're like, oh, you want it? Cool. Because they've worked past that fear. They've worked past the avoidance and anxiety. And those things come up so often. They show themselves to me so often. And it's like, oh my gosh, leave, move out the way. But I realize that it's my mind. It's all in my mind. It's about what I tell myself. And in those moments, I have to be like, yo, chill, relax, calm down. But still, it shows me where I am. It shows me where I am. And even like the people around me. Because I'm not throwing no shade or nothing, but like how I feel about the people around me, or how I perceive that the people around me feel about me, and like the trajectory of where I believe that I will be, can sometimes weigh on me. And that's just my perception. And my perception could be solely based in fear that I feel this way about myself. So then I am projecting, or like in my head I'm projecting, which is why I feel that way. But until I change, or until you change how you feel about yourself and like where you want to be, that's where the shift is. And I like I said, I think in the last video I made, I feel so many things about myself, good and bad. But at the end of the day, it's about what I'm doing. It's about what you're doing. Because I could read these books till thy kingdom come. I could just never act on it. And you see so many people not acting. A part of why I am where I am today is because I got so tired of hearing the possibilities of what I could be in my head. And I was like, screw this. I'm going to try. I don't know, but I'm going to try. And here I am, years later, further than I probably would have been had I just tucked those thoughts in the back of my head. I knew. I was like, I forgot how young I was, but I was young and I knew. That sounds so funny. I'm sorry. I was probably like, I think I was like 20, like 19 or 20. And I was like, I am not about to die without trying to please myself, without even attempting to take a shot at my greatness and to activate it and be that. And whether or not stuff happens or not, stuff is gonna happen, I'm gonna let you know. But it's about what I feel and how I feel about myself. I feel like I'm one of the greatest things in the world. I am of the Creator. I am divinely made. But if my actions don't show that, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, she's just a normal girl. She'd be singing and stuff. It's about me, I guess. Oh my God, I'm not trying to use me as an example, but here I am using me as an example. It's about, let me bring it back to the neutral. It's about acting on your beliefs, not just believing them. Because I tell my mom sometimes, I'm like, they judge Christians who don't go to church, right? Because you read the Bible, you don't go to church. Like, is that not acting on your beliefs? I don't know. Everyone acts on their beliefs differently. But if you have a goal and you want to accomplish it, don't not do it. Because you're probably just going to end up fighting yourself until you do it, and then being upset at the fact that you did it so late. Because time is the one thing that we necessarily can't get back. Sincerely. Like, that is why back to the beginning of the video, that is why this advice keeps coming up. Advice of things I wish I knew in my 20s a lot of the advice probably comes from people making decisions later and then realizing like, oh, had I just taken that step at age 22, then I would have been better off. But like, we only got one shot, one chance. And so however you identify, however you feel about yourself, use this video, this moment where you're watching, to do something. Just do one little thing. If you are a writer and you've been wanting to post this article on your blog, or you've been wanting to start your blog, just make the blog title. Make the blog, do something small. Do something small. Because even a small thing is one step closer to what you want to do. To who you believe that you are, even though you're scared. Because the avoidance and the anxiety are rooted in fear. And fear does nothing but create problems in our head and hold us back. Fear and then the ego, those two things those are like the devil on our shoulder. The angel is trust and faith. But it's like, there's a balance. Sometimes the devil on your shoulder is louder than the angel. Sometimes the angel's louder than the devil. But it's up to you. What do you want to experience in this lifetime? Do you want to be the starving artist that is struggling to get by, and then one day, boom, everything changes because of the years of faith and trust and belief and hard work and practice you put in? Or do you want to be that person who draws occasionally and they're really good, and the people that meet them and see their work think that they're really good, but they kind of just keep it as a hobby because they don't think they have the time for it, or they tell themselves that people won't like it. That person could be Picasso. That person could be Van Gogh. Like, think of your favorite artist or your favorite musician or your favorite author. Like, imagine J.K. Rowling did not decide to publish Harry Potter. That whole series has literally shaped the culture, and it's literally like a fantasy. Like, can you imagine a world without some of the most renowned works we have today because that person was like, no, it's okay, maybe like next year or the next. Come on, that could be you. I don't know who's watching this. I don't know. But because you're alive, because you're here, and you have this belief in yourself, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be probably thinking about the things you're thinking about. You're worth it. Just take a little step. Take a little step. Like trying a new food or trying a new drink. Just take a little step. And just see what happens. I know it's scary. It's not gonna get any easier. And as time goes by, you don't want to judge yourself for not even seeing like, Nike says just do it, and it sounds so simple. That's why it works. But things don't happen just out of thin air. Like, if you're not drawing, how do you expect to have your own gallery opening? You know what I'm saying? And this is not like a get your butt up and start drawing right now. But like, do something small. You want to learn how to roller skate? Buy some roller skates. You want to learn how to do tattoos? Start drawing. You don't have to start with all this equipment. And there's so many people who make videos. They're like, okay, you want to be a content creator? You don't, like, this is the equipment you should start out with. You don't have to have this, that, and the third, because you can have those things. And I'll tell you that I have things that I'm like, okay, this is gonna make me better. This is gonna force me to learn. They're still sitting there, unused. They're sitting there like trophies. So it's not about the tools, it's about you. How you feel about yourself, where you believe you're meant to be, who you believe that you're supposed to be around, the things that you're supposed to be doing. If you don't feel like you're supposed to be working a job, start working something else. So that way that job gets over there. That job is not taking your time. That job is on a timeline, and its time is going to be up soon. because you've been working towards something else, because you know that's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's not what you're meant to do. So I hope that this encouraged you, if anything, because we got stuff to do. We got work to do, babe. We got work to do. And I want to see you win. I want to see you win, because everybody deserves a chance to take a chance on themselves. Sincerely, whether somebody next to them believes in them, whether it's their neighbor from across the street, whether it's their dog that they talk to and barks with joy every time they see their work, it doesn't matter. Everybody deserves to take a chance on themselves and see what happens. See what happens. Because as much as you're thinking that people won't like it, they're probably gonna love it. They're probably gonna love it so much, and you're gonna be like so glad that you took a chance on yourself. So yeah, listen to the advice that they give you. Advice that they wish they knew. But it's all about what they did and didn't do. I guarantee you. So what are you gonna do today? What are you gonna do tomorrow? I don't know. I'm not you. But I'll see you in the next entry.